what is communication?
Communication is a source of a person's daily conversation.
Priya, did you know, according to Sean Grimsley, communication is sending and receiving information between two or more people.
I also heard that communication is used by teenagers a lot. Wow.
We interview different teachers and students using 4 different guide questions to know their views and opinions about certain topics that are related to communication.
Good morning, Miss. Our first question for you is, what can you say about the confusion of teenagers when it comes to the use of language?
I think one of the many confusions of our teens today about the use of language is how are they going to convey or communicate the message to the receiver without any error, misunderstanding, and misinterpretation.
I can say the confusion of teenagers in the use of language is first by the use of technology, which from using technology they are open to social media platforms such as social media, and because of social media they can intake the social trends from other countries and thus use that as their form of language. For example, charot, eme, like that one, they use shortcuts instead. So when they communicate to older people, wherein age gap comes in, the older people can no longer fully understand what the teenagers are talking or the language that they use when speaking to these people.
And the second question is, how can communication help us to connect with one another?
Communication is really helpful when it comes to connecting us with one another. Like for example, we would like to become friends with some people to other countries. What is our universal language? It is English, right? So it is really important to learn the universal language as well in order for us to communicate not only within here in our own country but also from the other countries like America.
Kuya, next question. How can communication help us to connect with one another?
So communication is the key to success in life. It is basically how we interact with one another. It's how we share our ideas and thoughts. It's how we express our feelings. And it's a way on how we connect with one another. How do we communicate? We talk, we exchange words and emotions, thoughts, feelings, and without it, how else would we talk with one another?
Hello, Kuya. I am going to ask you, when can we say that communication is used effectively?
We can say that communication is used effectively because in essence, effective communication is about conveying, which I think you know that in communication we have 2 sources, which is a receiver and the sender. And a message that is understood, appropriate, and achieve its desired outcomes, all while respecting needs and perspective of the audience. It is a dynamic process that adopts a various contexts and objectives. When the audience comprehends the message, for me, it indicates effective communication, and this understanding can be gauged through feedback and responses.
Through language, we were able to understand each other. We were able to create relationship with one another. And through that, I believe communication is effective way in connecting to people.
When can we say that communication is used effectively?
Communication is used effectively if the message sent by the sender is received clearly or by the receiver.
Thank you, Ate.
When can we say that communication is used effectively?
We can say that communication was used effectively if the model of communication was successfully met. That means that a speaker was able to relay successfully a message through a medium to a listener, and the listener was able to give a feedback to the speaker. Now, one of the main examples that we can give for this is the communication that happens inside a room in between the teacher and the student. Now, there are times that a teacher might explain a lesson with a modulated voice in a well-ventilated and lighted room, but still a student cannot totally understand the lesson. That means that somewhere, somehow, there have been a gap in the process of the communication. So we can only say that the communication in a classroom was successful if a teacher was able to teach and a learner was able to learn the lesson.
If we are listening